Today I'm in the 15 through 2020 Ford Edge. As you can see here, I have a Sync 3 8-inch screen. This is what was in the vehicle originally. We went with Sync 4 8-inch. This is full wireless, CarPlay, and Android Auto capabilities. If you want to see how I install this, you're going to want to stick around. I'm going to show you how to get it done. It's actually pretty easy. All right, so where we're going to start is actually at our center console. I'm going to lift up the center console armrest. And these side panels are the two first panels that we're going to actually pull off. So these are just held in with some clips. And it should pop free pretty easily. We're going to fully remove both sides of these. All right, with that out of the way, we can now pop our center console with cup holders up. This is also just held in with some clips. And when you get to this upper area here, this kind of pulls more towards you. There's clips on either side up here. All right, just like that. Now on either side, you do have a couple of wires. You're gonna have to disconnect both of these. Here's one. And same for the other side. With those out of the way, you can kind of just wiggle this out, and we'll set this aside. All right, so next up, what I'm actually gonna do is, so I don't have to put the ignition on and shift it out of park, there's a shift lever lock underneath your shifter. So this is around the D and neutral position on your bezel here, your shifter bezel. If you go straight down, there's this white tab. You need something long and maybe flat to push in there, but you're gonna hit that and you're gonna push that forward until it stops. Once that's forward, you can just go ahead and shift your car out of park. Just like that. So now, unless I return the shifter back to park, I do have free motion here. Now, if you are gonna do the shifter release, just like I did, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're not on a hill or your driveway is not angled. If not, you're gonna wanna put your parking brake on before you attempt all of this, because that will prevent the vehicle from moving. And then you can move your shifter free out of the way, because it is gonna make it easier to get all these panels out with the shifter all the way back like this. All right, now with our shifter pulled back, that gives us easier access to pull this little cubby out. And this is held in with 4 7/32 screws. They're at each corner. And I like to have a little magnet for this, because these can get away from you pretty easy. We'll set those screws aside, and now this pocket can be pulled straight back. If the pocket is open, it'll fight you coming out of here, so make sure it's in the closed position. And we do have 2 plugs back here that we have to remove from our hub. Now with our hub and little cubby removed, that gives us access to 1, 2, 3, 4 screws up here. 2 are actually attached to our radio bezel. 2 are attached to this shifter surround. This shifter surround actually lips over the bezel, the bottom of the bezel. So you can't just pull the 2 center screws. You actually have to pull all of those out, as well as 2 more screws up on the sides here, and way in the back of this shifter you got 1 more. That whole thing will come off, and that'll give us clearance to pull this bezel out. So let's remove these 7 mils first, and we'll pull this bezel off. Then way on the sides up here, these are on that shifter bezel, and then the ones in here are on that radio bezel. All right, with all the screws removed, you can actually pop this thing towards the rear. It's a couple of clips up here. And we'll twist this out of the way, and that'll give us all the access we need. As you can see, our bezel is loose now. This is just held in with some clips going all the way around it, so we'll pop this free. And what I'll do is I'll just grab my panel tool, just kind of pull towards me. There we go. This whole thing will pop to the rear, just like that. Let's turn these off here. And now we can go ahead and unplug our climate control down here at the bottom, and we can set this whole thing aside. All right, now that we have our radio bezel removed, we are ready to remove our radio screen. We have 4 7 mils holding this on, 1 at each corner. then we can pull this straight towards the rear, and we'll make sure we disconnect all our connectors here. Now that we have this pulled out, we'll need to take this to the bench. Our new unit does not come with the brackets. We'll have to get these brackets swapped over, and then we can move forward with the install. For those of you that are interested in saving your presets and having mix modes as an option, you will have to change out your ACM. I'm going to show you how to do that now. It's basically, since we already removed the 2 top 7mm because it was holding our screen on, there's only 2 more 7mm right below the unit that we have to pull. So we'll get that pulled out. And once that's pulled out, just slide this straight back. We get all these connections removed. With our new ACM in hand, you can see we do not have brackets installed. So I'm going to get these brackets swapped over, and then we can install our harness and plug in our new ACM. All right, so with your ACM in the same orientation, pretty simple. All you got to do is pull your 4 Phillips screws out and get that bracket swapped over. All right, we'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, we got our bracket swapped over. Now we are ready for the conversion harness. We'll get this plugged into the one side. Everything else will plug in just like it did from the factory. We do have to add this line here going up to the radio harness. Up at our radio harness, you can see we have a line here listed ACM-A. This is gonna have to come down and get tapped into our ACM, and now everything else is just getting reinstalled. And all we have to do is simply remount this and we are good to go. It is a little tight back there, so you're going to want to move any harnesses that may be impeding your way. Just kind of smush that to the side just to give yourself some room. All right, once you get it lined up, we'll throw those 2 bottom screws in. You only have to worry about putting the 2 bottom screws in because the top screws go in when you put the screen back in. All right, and we're good to go to move forward with the rest of the install. All right, so we have our original radio here and original radio brackets, and here's the unit that we received with our kit. We are going to have to swap these brackets over, and it's held in with 3 T8 screws up top, and there's 2 more of those at the bottom. Let me get these pulled off. You may not want to use a power tool for this because these have a tendency to strip out. All right, we'll do the same thing on the bottom. All right, we got our brackets secured on here. We are ready to go back into the vehicle. We'll bring our new harnesses that were included with our kit, and we'll get this bad boy installed. All right, we're back in the vehicle. The only thing that we do have to install is this harness that came with our upgrade. We'll get this plugged in just like the original one was. I'll get this harness kind of tucked in here to give me room. Now we are ready for our radio. We'll go ahead and just get this plugged in. And now it's simply reinstalling everything that we removed, and then we can get this upgrade wrapped up. So we'll put the 4 7mm back in. And now we can grab our bezel, get that plugged all in. All right, before I fully clip this in, let me go ahead and pull our screen protector. These can be kind of a pain with that bezel installed. All right, now just go ahead and clip this back into place. All right, we're nice and tight. Now we can reinstall the 2 7mm that are at the bottom, put our shifter bezel back in, and basically just reverse the removal. I'm going to start with these 2 in the center. That's for the radio bezel. Then we can go ahead and spin this back around, and you can see those 2 clips up here. When you're putting this back in, you're going to want to line those 2 clips up. There's the 2 clips. Now, this thing doesn't go any more forward. To get those clips to seat, that's actually a part of the pocket that's in front of it. So you just pull towards you on that plastic pocket, that little cubby that's in front here, and that'll clip itself back into here. Now we can go ahead and put the 5 screws back in. All right, now we're ready for our hub and cubby. We'll get this plugged back in. All right, we're all plugged in. And then this is the part that I like to use, a little magnet, especially for these top ones, at least just to set it in there. There we go. You can see they're kind of in there. They're just enough covered to make it a little difficult for you to do it with your fingers. Now we're ready for our shifter shroud. Make sure to plug both sides in. And this is the side that the car really doesn't like you to disconnect. There we go. Then when you're lining this up, I always like to get it kind of where it needs to go and then push these front ones in. All right, now all that's left are the 2 panels on the sides of our center console. Throw that back in park. All right, and that wraps up this install. Let's go ahead and clean up our tools. Then I'll turn on the vehicle and give us a demo of what it looks like. All right, let's go ahead and turn on the ignition. You don't have to start it, and we can run our Genie programmer. We're gonna wait for a green light. All right, we got the green light. We are all programmed. Now we can go ahead and test out our radio. Turn it on and check out our Sync 4 upgrade. All right, as you can see, we have Sync 4 all booted up. This is a refreshed user interface, so this is going to look different from your Sync 3 units if you're used to that. We do have built-in navigation on this unit, so you don't have to solely rely on Android Auto or Apple CarPlay for your navigation needs. Let me go ahead and pair a phone to it, and I can show you Android Auto and Apple CarPlay full wireless functionality. All right, so I got my Android phone all paired up. You can see Android Auto right here. Complete wireless functionality with Android Auto. All your favorite apps right at your fingertips. And you can easily jump back to the sync interface. Let me go ahead and connect the iPhone. Show you it's a pretty simple process to switch between phones. Again, this is 100% wireless. So if you are trying to cut the cord, this is the upgrade for you. Seamless functionality with all your favorite music apps. And I should add, the screen is extremely responsive. There's like no lag here.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that upgrade just as much as we enjoyed developing it. We were here established in 2008, and we've been helping over 100,000 customers do upgrades to their vehicle. So we carry this upgrade and so much more on our website, infotainment.com. We service what we sell. We have a whole staff that services parts all day long. We also have in-house advisors that can advise you and help you from start to finish. We also have a compatibility guarantee. As I mentioned in the video, we will get your 17-digit VIN number to ensure that everything is programmed to the modules for a seamless installation in your exact vehicle. We also have extended warranties for those of you who would like to take advantage of that. Those of you who pulled out your old gear and you don't want it just to sit in your garage forever, we actually offer trade-in value to your old gear. So be sure to go to our website for more information on that. Last but not least, if you have a request for your vehicle, you want a factory OEM upgrade for your vehicle and you don't see it on our website, we have a product request form that our research and development department looks at every single day. So request that product and we'll get back with you with a possible solution. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and have a great day.